Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in Richland County. Dr. John Boyle is accused of killing his wife Noreen and burying her body.
The 12-year-old son finally took the stand.
Boyd confidently told the jury it was his decision to testify against his father.
I heard a scream. I heard a thud. It was about this loud.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
I decided at an early age that our trauma should not be what defines us. It's what we choose to do with it that does. I'm here to share my unique perspective on true crime, mental health, society, and popular culture, and always with a slight sense of humor. I'm Collier Landry, and welcome to my show. Mover Nation, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. I just received a text. You know, 'tis the season for all things politics in the United States. We have a presidential election coming up. And I just received a very funny text message that says, Collier, you are the only Dem in 90405 that we haven't heard from. Are you a Kamala supporter? Now, granted, I thought they said I'm the only Dem, because I live in a very, very liberal area. So I thought that was interesting. Just got that as we started the live. Mover Nation, I don't have much to talk about today, but I have a lot to talk about. But first, I want you to join me in singing happy birthday to my adopted mother, my mother, Susan Ziegler, who has a birthday today, August 14th. Let's give her a little song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Susan. Mover Nation really loves you. All right. I know you guys are singing that with me. Happy birthday, Susan. I hope all y'all are doing well. Okay, so, and love that shirt, says Karen Fan. This is the shirt that I wore yesterday. I was on a very large YouTube channel. Very large. They interviewed me. It was one of those bucket list moments. I won't get into what channel it is, but I will share it very soon. Interview is going to come out in about a month and a half. This was the shirt that was chosen by my dear friend, Sophia, who said, I sent her wardrobe options because I was kind of freaking out. And I said, what do you think I should wear? And she says, wear that shirt. So I wore this shirt yesterday. For those of you that don't know, I updated my wardrobe recently, and I'm very proud of that. I'm also very proud of the fact that when I decided to update my wardrobe, I hit every major sale at Nordstrom's and Bloomingdale's and every other place. The timing could not have been better. So I was very excited about that. I just finished my walk in Santa Monica. I don't have this is kind of a free-form jazz sort of session. The channel is undergoing a little bit of a facelift. We have some new people that are getting involved. So a lot of things are going to be changing, including the content that I'm making, which I'm very excited about because, to be honest, I need to change things up a little bit. So look for that. All 25 of you watching currently. We will probably be changing up our live schedule at some point, but yes. And Bloomingdale's was my birth mother's favorite store, Noreen, whose birthday is September 28th. A few of you reached out and said, oh my goodness, we're remembering Noreen. I was like, no, it's Susan, but whoa, hey, that's wow. Okay. Still haven't fixed that boom arm, by the way. Joel Wallman from Surviving the Survivor, I believe, is in town. I'm going to try to connect with him tomorrow at Barnes & Noble. In fact, I have to message him for those of you. I see Gen X to the seventh power here. I know she's a mod over there as well. So I'm going to hopefully connect with them. And Marisol is currently on a little vacation right now. So she is enjoying her time with a friend of mine, and she's very excited. So the Olympics ended this last weekend. And for those of you that were watching the Olympics, it was pretty cool. I'm very excited because the Olympics are going to be in, well, I should say that with a little bit of caution. I'm excited to have the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. I am not excited to sort of think of the amount of traffic disturbances that are going to be going on. Because I can imagine, I mean, SoFi Stadium is like that way. LAX is that way. Hollywood is back that way. And Beverly Hills, there's nothing going to go on there. But I think all the activity is going to be over here on the west side. The beaches, all kinds of stuff. So it's probably going to, if I'm still living in Santa Monica at that time, I'm sure it's going to create a lot of havoc for me. By the way, as you guys see that I'm here and I'm in good spirits, I made it through my food poisoning session the other day. For those of you that were here on Sunday, I ate something weird the night before. I went to El Torito with a friend who said, let's get some bad Mexican. I love Mexican food. The El Torito did not do me wonders, but I did not get shrimp. And we talked about that. Some people in the comments talked about that. Stay away from the shrimp. Definitely staying away from the shrimp. I've had 2 friends that have had horrific food poisoning from shrimp. So I'm not going to be a fan of that. And I'm a risky eater. Sometimes when I go overseas, I'm a risky eater. I will eat the street cart vendors' foods. I have eaten pulpo on the wood-fired coals underneath the bridge in Tijuana, Cabo, all those places. Probably going to maybe put the kibosh on that for a while. But anyways, so the Olympics ended, and something that was of note is, for those of you who, I don't see anyone from the other side of the planet, Aussies, this breakdancing was a sport that was new to the Olympics this year. And an Australian, a woman with a PhD, and now I can't remember her name, of course, but she was the representative for the country of Australia in breakdancing. And to be quite honest, so there was a great little YouTube short that I pulled up today. I love Adele. I've really liked her over the years. I've enjoyed her music. She's quite funny because she actually has undergone a lot of fire. She, was overweight at one point in time and decided to get thin and take care of her health and get serious about her health, and had massive backlash because she decided to get healthy. And she was like, y'all can piss off on that. But she, during her concert recently, mentioned this Australian who, yes, her name is Reagan. And it's pretty funny, and I'm going to play it here because you gotta love this. And Aussies also are people who don't pull punches. I spent about a month in Australia a few years ago. I quite enjoyed it. A beautiful country, mind you. And I don't know if I can make this large, though. I think it's the best thing that's happened in the Olympics the entire time. Did anyone see the breakdancing lady yesterday from the Olympics? Now, I didn't even know that breakdancing was even an Olympic sport these days. I think that's fantastic. I really, really do. I knew that skateboarding had become an Olympic one. I can't work out if it was a joke, but either way, it has made me very, very happy. And me and my friends have been ourselves laughing for nearly 24 hours. But I just wanted to know if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, please leave the show and Google it, because it is lol. It is so funny. Anyway, it's brilliant. It's my favourite thing that's happened in the Olympics this whole I think it's the best thing that's happened. Oh, God bless you, Adele, for saying what we're all thinking. So I want to, being that Aussies don't pull a lot of punches, I want to play some of the, because I didn't even know this is a thing. And I'm going to make a separate video about this because I do find it rather humorous because of just, the woman scored 0 points. 0 points. And breakdancing and b-boying is a really cool thing. I filmed a lot with b-boys and breakdancers over the years. We used to, there's a camera company called Red. And when they were coming out and they were very fancy, this was like 2011, 2012, we were filming a bunch of b-boys because we were doing these like super slow-mo, or what we call high-speed shots of them breaking. And it was like so cool. We would get these cameras and like go shoot with these guys. And it was so much fun. And so I have a lot of respect for it is an art form. It's born in the streets. It is really rad. I can't find, and I haven't gone to TikTok yet, but I can't find any footage of this woman at the Olympics. But apparently it has set the internet on fire. And yeah, and it was something they were trying here at the Summer Olympics, and I think it was very cool. But yes, I'm looking at your comments, by the way, to see if anybody is like, oh no, don't talk about this. I think it's funny. We're gonna play the Aussies' reaction to their fellow countrymen, because it has definitely been an interesting story. Okay, so I gotta find the actual Sky News Australia. Okay, and this is going to talk about the lefty meltdown. We're not going to get into politics, but so for those of you that Australia is very liberal, but that really means conservative. It's a kind of a weird thing. So it's like, wait, hold on, what? Their Liberal Party is like very right wing. So this news media, Sky News, is like our Fox News, but nonetheless, it makes for great entertainment. And I want to share this entertainment with you guys because this has like 1 million views. All right, I'm gonna move this to like, we're not gonna watch this at normal speed because also Aussies have great accents, and what better than to watch diphthongs at 1.5 speed? It's gonna be great. We'll go ahead and share this one, and they just kind of have a little melt. It's very funny. She has a big mouth too. I don't know why.
Now it is time for lefties losing it, starting with Australia's breakdancing entry at the Olympic Games. Yes, apparently breakdancing is part of the Games.
Might be a little too fast.
It really capped off the IOC's woke farce of a tournament where athletes with male chromosomes were allowed to compete in the women's division, and where vegan food and cardboard beds were served up, all in the name of climate change. Now, in horrific scenes that resembled a 3 a.m. leg cramp, you know, the ones you get when you're in bed, mixed with a T-Rex and someone being spun around in a tumble dryer, Rachel Gunn, otherwise known as B-Girl Ray Gunn, performed some sort of bizarre act in front of the world, complete with a kangaroo hop for an added cute touch. B-Girl Ray Gunn has a PhD in the cultural politics of breaking. Now, if that doesn't scream lefty, I don't know what does. And now, here is a real example of breakdancing.
For those of us, so her little routine, and I've worked with breakdancers before, a lot of dancers in my career as a cinematographer. She's not very good. Even the videos, not very good. She's in her mid to late 30s. God bless you, because I'm older than that. God bless you for making the Olympics. But she scored a 0. And it's just a little embarrassing. So this is the real breakdancers.
See, it's actually quite good when done by a professional with skill and talent. And here is the exclusive footage we obtained of B-Girl Ray Gunn's performance.
All right, no, that's not funny. Okay. I'm just going to play Ricky Gervais. Yeah, right.
Fall silent. You know what? That's close enough. That was exactly how the world watched on in shock and complete confusion as a B-Girl bunny hopped onto the stage for a painfully embarrassing few minutes. And of course, the left media has come to Ray Gunn's defense, blaming her uniform of all things.
She also copped a lot of flack for wearing her uniform, and she was saying that she was really proud to wear the green and gold. And a lot of people have given her flack because she didn't go out there in traditional streetwear or something. But do you think that's fair?
I think it's, well, when you're going to Olympics, you're representing your country, and she was wearing the colours.
And guess what? The patriarchy have also leapt to her defence. Cue this lefty meltdown.
She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia. And you look at the history of what we have had as women athletes has faced in terms of criticism, belittlement, judgment, criticism, and simple comments like they shouldn't be there. 100 years ago, leading into Paris 1924, Australia sent a team of 37 athletes. None were women. 100 years later, we have 256 women represented here.
Yeah,
and
we're going to talk about that.
Is an absolutely loved member of this Olympic team.
Ah, yes. Cue the left's A-grade weapon, misogyny. Look, I don't think it was the uniform or being a woman that let her down. Maybe she just isn't as good at breakdancing as she is at writing articles like this one, titled Negotiating and Challenging Gendered Assumptions in Sydney's Breakdancing Scene, where she states that she uses theoretical tools
these
to
guys are
unpack and
very
challenge normative gendered narratives, with breakdancing culturally inscribed as masculine b-boying and
I
its
love the
conventions
Australian
interlocking with broader patriarchal restrictions that inhibit female participation and bodily expression. How's that for a mouthful? And guess what? B-boys and B-girls, I guess that is what she means by bodily expression.
I think the pose is hilarious. I think the meltdown that everyone on both sides is having about it is just very funny. And if anything deserves an oy vey, this deserves an oy vey. I gotta play a few of the other reactions because I believe that what was it? Not Hollywood Reporter. E! News reacted to it, which I think was kind of funny. But that gets 2 million. I mean, it's Sky News is their version of Fox for sure. But I really want to see, what I want to see is the actual performance, which I haven't been able to find anywhere. Like I said, I haven't gone to TikTok, but I want to play that because I do think it is quite hilarious. Okay, let's see. All right. This is page 6. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. What happened here? All right. All right.
Rachel Gunn, also known as Ray Gunn, didn't take home a medal at the 2024 Paris Olympics, but her bizarre breakdancing performance may never be forgotten. The Australian breakdancer went viral after she failed to secure a single point in the inaugural breaking competition. Rachel busted out all her moves as she spun around on her head, threw her arms in the air like a windmill, rolled around on her shoulders, and reached for her toes while lying on her side. According to fans, the 36-year-old dancer's most memorable move might have been her kangaroo hop, where she jumped like the beloved Australian animal. The Olympian's performance quickly gained traction on social media as one person compared her choreography to actress Julia Stiles' moves in 2001 film Save the Last Dance, while others refused to believe that her performance was legit. Top Olympic judge Martin Gillian, known as MGbility, told CNN reporters in part, breaking is all about originality and bringing something new to the table and representing your country or region. She was inspired by her surroundings, which in this case, for example, was a kangaroo. She created some original moves, which could be maybe funny or entertaining for others, but for us, she basically represented breaking and hip-hop. Despite Ray Gunn not receiving a single point for her performance, the judge reassured that the scores are based on a competitive judging system and should not mean that she did really bad. Anna Mears, the chef de mission of Australia, also shared support for Ray Gunn, saying in part that she worked her way up to the Olympics and conquered a sport mostly dominated by men, and that she is the best female breakdancer that they have in Australia, which qualified her for the Olympics. She feels very disappointed that she has come under attack. Although breaking made history by debuting at this year's Paris Olympics, it will not be returning as an Olympic sport in 2028. I wonder why.
There you have it. It will not be coming back to the Olympics in 2028. So there will be no hip hop or breakdancing here in Los Angeles, which would have been like the ultimate place to have this. But, you know, oy vey. That's what's on my mind today. I found the absolute, first of all, the outrage over it from both sides, the obsession over it. And it's very comical. I'm sorry. I think it's funny. What do you guys think in the comments? That's a nice, hello, this is a nice departure from criminals in courts. Amen to that. Yes. Especially the courts part. Elaine and Seinfeld dancing equals this. Yes, I would agree with that. I saw a voiceover of the dancer first. Bunny hop. I wasn't even sure it was real, but it was hilarious. Her husband is the judge. As Miss K says, her husband is the judge on the committee that picked her and her coach. Well, there you have it. Nepotism at its finest. Oy vey. Hey, there are a lot of good break dancers that are in there. I mean, if you guys, so there is a guy, he's on Instagram. I think he must be like in his 70s. His name is Bishop Poldes, Poldes. he dances. I don't know if he break dances, but he dances. This dude is amazing. And he just breaks it out. I mean, obviously he probably does like 50 takes to get it right, but this guy has some moves. So it doesn't matter how old you are. This guy's got crazy moves. So it's just really the you know who I'm talking about, Sherry Falls. Yeah, he's great. At least she had the nerve to get up and do it. Yeah, a little bit of chutzpah, but and it is funny to see. I think it's just the reaction all over. And yeah, exactly. I could get 0 points. I could go there and get 0 points. It is what it is. Parkour would be an amazing Olympic discipline as well. And I kind of wondered like why that wasn't, especially being it was in Paris, since it's so popular in Europe. But anyways, she did it for the free plane ticket for her uni studies. That's funny. That's funny. Even if she was trolling the Olympics, at least she had fun. Well, there you go. And I think she was trolling the Olympics. All right. So that's our little fun moment of the day. Again, happy birthday to my adopted mother, Susan, or my mother, Susan. I have to say it because a lot of you were like, is that my mom, Noreen? No, her birthday is September 28th. This is Susan's birthday, who you guys have seen in A Murder in Mansfield. And then subsequently, when I dragged my parents to all of the other events that we did that tied in with A Murder in Mansfield. So she was there for all of that. So anyways, happy birthday to her. I think we have some other August babies as well here on the channel. And if you have an August birthday, happy birthday to you as well. Okay. What was I doing? I was going to pull something else up. And of course, I can't remember what it was. Where was it? I was watching it this morning on YouTube. Why is it not showing up now? Oh, and Laci Peterson. Oh, yes. There are 2 more documentaries that are coming out regarding the Laci Peterson case. To get back into this whole true crime news, 20 years after Scott Peterson's conviction, the Laci Peterson murder is revisited in new documentaries. Scott Peterson, who has always maintained his innocence, was convicted of murder in 2004. 20 years ago, a case that gripped the world came to an end when Scott Peterson was convicted of killing his wife, Laci Peterson, and their unborn son. Scott Peterson, who has always maintained his innocence, was convicted of murder in 2004 and sentenced to death the next year. He was resentenced to life without the possibility of parole after his death sentence was overturned in 2020. Prosecutors portrayed him as an adulterer who dumped his wife's body in the Berkeley Marina in California on Christmas Eve of 2002 and tried to cover up the crime by making it appear as if she were missing. Her body later washed ashore. The case has been chronicled over the years in numerous films, documentaries, and books. Netflix, American Murder, Laci Peterson, and Peacock's Face to Face with Scott Peterson are docuseries that will once again delve into what has become one of the most notable true crime cases in American history. So who was Laci Peterson? Laci, 27, disappeared from her and Scott Peterson's Modesto, California home on Christmas Eve of 2002, 5 years after they married. She was 8 months pregnant with their son, Connor, at the time. One of the last people to speak with her was her mother, Sharon Rocha. According to a 2003 article by United Press International, the pair had casually spoken around 8:30 p.m. on December 23rd, 2022. Or sorry, 2002. Wow. Yeah, 22 years ago, not 2 years ago. Scott had said that everything seemed fine when he left the house on the morning she vanished and had told neighbors he was going to play golf, according to NBC Bay Area. But prosecutors said he did not go to the golf course and instead drove 90 miles away to the Berkeley Marina. Scott told police that he went to the marina to go fishing in a little aluminum boat that he had recently purchased. In the trailer for the coming Netflix series, Rocha said her daughter would gush over Scott. I remember before I met Scott, Laci telling me all these things about him, Rocha said. In her first interview for a documentary, I remember her saying, as her mother, I hope he's not filling her with crap. A young child looks on at a makeshift memorial. This is the caption for this particular photo. And a missing persons banner offering a $500,000 reward for information about Laci Peterson in Modesto, California on January the 4th, 2003. Police boats searched the water near Berkeley, California on January the 4th, 2003. A woman in the trailer said that Laci was giddy when she met Scott, while another said Laci believed her husband was, quote, who he presented himself to be. In 2002, 4 months after Laci, in April of 2003, 4 months after Laci vanished, the bodies of her and her unborn son washed ashore in the San Francisco Bay. A pathologist testified in 2003 that her body was badly decomposed and that her head and forearms and one of her feet were missing. Her abdomen had worn away, according to the pathologist, and there was no evidence that she had given birth. The body of the baby had most likely broken free shortly before their remains were recovered, the pathologist had said. When was Scott Peterson arrested? Scott Peterson was arrested in April of 2003 near San Diego, more than a 7-hour drive from his home in Modesto. Modesto, I think it was even farther than that, actually, not including traffic. NBC Bay Area reported that he had bleached his hair and was carrying a huge pile of cash when police took him into custody, which was always the big thing for me with Scott Peterson, even though he maintained his innocence, was why are you fleeing and why do you have a large amount of cash with you? That's what I don't understand. At an arraignment, he pled not guilty to 2 counts of murder. He was arrested after Amber Fry, a massage therapist living in Fresno, told police that they started dating a month before Laci died, but that he had told her his wife was already dead. At the trial, Laci's relatives testified that Scott did not seem upset about her disappearance. Harvey Kemple, her cousin, recalled a time when he said Scott got angry over burning chicken at a barbecue. Sounds like something my father would have gotten angry about. I saw more reaction out of him when he burnt the goddamn chicken than when his wife went missing. Kemple is quoted as saying in a 2004 San Francisco Chronicle article. We'll play this little video here. Judge in Scott Peterson case denies most calls for new DNA tests.
Come explore your new Total Wine & More.
Really?
We have the
I
largest
don't want to see
selection,
Total Wine.
the friendliest service from our expert guides, and
I'll continue to read while they're waiting for this stupid video. Scott has spoken out about the case over the years, and he has always maintained his innocence. His attorneys have argued that Laci was killed after she stumbled upon a burglar. In the coming Peacock series, he expresses regret over his affair and once again declares, I didn't kill my family. It's horrible, he said in an article published Tuesday by People magazine ahead of the release of the Peacock series. Okay, here we go.
This morning, a major setback for conviction.
So the court is going to respectfully deny the request to test items 13 and 14.
This morning, a major setback for convicted killer Scott Peterson in his quest for a new trial.
And based on the argument that is articulated today, the court finds that there has been failure to demonstrate a sufficient chain of custody that would permit the DNA testing to be completed.
A California judge denying all but one of Peterson's requests for new DNA testing on evidence his attorneys with the Los Angeles Innocence Project say was initially suppressed.
Your Honor, we would submit there's a reasonable probability that favorable DNA results would have changed the outcome at Mr. Peterson's trial.
Peterson, now 51, joining the hearing virtually from prison, where he is serving a life sentence without parole for the 2002 murders of his pregnant wife Laci and their unborn child Connor. His attorneys asking to test a sample of a mattress found inside a burned-out orange van the morning after Laci disappeared, which they believe could contain traces of Laci's blood.
Should Laci Peterson's DNA be found anywhere, that would be irrefutable exculpatory evidence supporting Mr. Peterson's claim of innocence.
The prosecution pushing back that DNA testing done in 2019 showed no blood on the mattress and only male DNA.
These are claims that have been previously litigated.
The judge siding with the prosecution, saying the van is not related to the trial. But the judge is allowing DNA testing on one item, duct tape found on Laci's pants when her body washed ashore in San Francisco Bay.
Do you think the DNA on the duct tape would still even be viable this many years later?
Arguably, yes. Arguably, yes.
Attorney Mark Garagos represented Peterson 20 years ago and disputes the prosecution's claim there's overwhelming evidence against him.
If it was overwhelming, there would not be this fascination with what does the new evidence show.
Now, a hearing about testing that duct tape is scheduled for July. Scott Peterson's brother and sister-in-law were here at the courthouse to support him. They did not respond to reporters' questions about that judge's ruling. Laci's family has not commented. Guys.
All right, Liz, thank you. I want to turn now to NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas. Hi, Danny. So there were a lot of different things that the defense was hoping to get retested. Only one piece.
So really fast to bring this up. So for those of you who just asked, by the way, welcome Tana Magnus. I was actually wondering, we haven't seen you in a while. Speaking of Pacific Northwest, hope you are doing well. Scott Peterson, why somebody asked why they're doing another movie, because it's true crime and people can't get enough of this nonsense. And of course the networks know that they can make a pile of money by making another movie. I mean, not a pile of money necessarily, but a lot of money and a lot of eyeballs by regurgitating the same nonsense over and over and over again. Such is the world of true crime. Let's keep talking about these things over and over and over again. I mean, here, this is what we're doing. Here we are talking about it, so it obviously works. I watched a documentary that made compelling arguments in Scott's favor, even so the jury got it right. Yeah, I think two things can be true at the same time. In a case like this, you have Scott Peterson's, there can be a compelling argument made for his innocence and he can still be guilty. You can go, okay, yeah, this makes sense too, but he could also be guilty and found guilty. So again, there you go. And as I realized that the door is open and there's a my neighbor's air conditioner is on. It's very hot here. It's like 80 degrees. So people are running their AC. Yeah, enough people forget. Exactly. So now they're bringing it back in our current thing. And I'm sorry, on the outskirts, the burglar scenario must be common for these types. My dad said that too. Yes, the one-armed man thing as well. The new Netflix just came out today. Peacock's documentary is next week on the 20th. Got it. Next Tuesday, the Peacock documentary comes out. Yeah, it's a very sad case. It's a very sad case in Redondo Beach. Again, I used to work in an NBC Bay Area, and I was working on that day that they found her, the day they found him with the orange hair. Yeah, back in San Diego. Also, a free way to support Colliers by using the Amazon affiliate link to buy the things you need when you need them. Thank you so much, Gen X to the 7th power. That always helps. You guys can support this channel just by buying stuff on Amazon. Using my link, collierlandry.com. Or sorry, Amazon.com/shop/collierlandry. Takes you to my storefront. And then just go shop on Amazon as you normally do. It's a great way to do it. I can't use it for the things that I buy on Amazon, unfortunately, or else I would be able to benefit from that. I thought about it, like signing up for another account and having it shipped to a different address. Maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should ship it to the P.O. box. That's interesting. Maybe for big purchases. Not that I buy that much stuff. Not that I buy big purchases on Amazon very often. And you can we also donate to you directly through? I believe so. Yes, you can. Casey Lee, thank you so much for joining us as well. Mary Alice Haas. Currently, I am working 1 block away from the home that Scott Peterson stayed in when he was in San Diego. Send him a teeny tip for coming in through the link. It's pretty cool. Oh, that's great. So you can. They send him a teeny tip. Oh, yes, they do. Yes. They give me a little bit of I get a little bit of a commission. It's very small. You can buy a coffee. Yes, you can. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/collierlandry. All the links are in the show notes of today's episode, or at least they should be. If I did my job properly, they will be there. And you can go to collierlandry.com links as well. Okay, so back to this not fun. It's not fun at all. This little discussion about this was the push for the new trial. The Innocence Project, the California Innocence Project took up, or Los Angeles Innocence Project took up his case. I don't know where that stands, but they are releasing these documentaries, and there is supposedly a push for him to get at least some sort of hearing out
Piece
of
of
this.
evidence will be. What do you make of that?
Yeah, really what the judge did was
basically get retested. Danny Savalas. Hi, Danny. So there were a lot of different things that the defense was hoping to get retested. Only one piece of evidence will be. What do you make of that?
Yeah, really what the judge did was basically deny the motion almost in its entirety, concluding that the items in the van are no longer in custody. The hammer, the glove, the things that washed ashore, the defense didn't meet their burden. And that's the key. They have the burden here to show that they could be connected and that they, if tested, could result in a different outcome. And the judge concluded that as to everything other than the duct tape, they didn't make that showing. And it makes sense with the duct tape because the duct tape, it's known that it was actually attached to Laci. So there's a stronger argument to be made that DNA could yield something interesting.
So just with that one tiny piece of retested evidence, if it does show something, is that all it takes for a new trial?
That DNA is the most common, most successful, newly discovered piece of evidence. It's the strongest case to be made for a new trial. There are many other items that could be newly discovered evidence, but in the modern era with DNA testing where it is now, that's probably your best case scenario. So they have a glimmer of hope on the Peterson defense team if the DNA yields something interesting.
But it was tested way back then, but their argument is DNA testing is so much better now.
Correct. Yes. In fact, as I understand it, the Peterson trial may have been the first case ever to use mitochondrial DNA testing. Since that time, 20 years, DNA testing, as most folks know from using 23andMe and all these other kinds of testing that are used in criminal cases, they have really made incredible advancements.
What's the likelihood, Danny, at this point that he actually gets a new trial?
Well, now we can say that a tiny percentage of the items to be retested very much narrows his chances. And then going from there, it's really a long shot that that DNA, after all these years, is even DNA that would yield anything helpful.
Okay.
Danny, thank you.
More Americans turn to NBC News than...
All right. There you have it. Yes. Look, he was convicted by a jury of his peers. They believed he was guilty too. Clearly. And he was sentenced to death. I'll continue reading this article so we can figure out what else is going on. But one of the things I was going to say is, by the way, I don't think 80 degrees is hot. I don't run my air conditioner here. I leave the windows open. I'm not an air conditioner user, but my neighbors apparently think 80 degrees is hot. I love warm weather. I know Cat Loves Catskills is dying down there in Florida when it's like 90 degrees and 100% humidity. But I love the heat and the warm weather. I grew up in Ohio where weather sucks most of the time and it's really cold in the winter and it can be really nice one moment and then thunderstorms the next, then really cold, and it's just I'm very grateful to be in the sunshine, as you can see with my tan. Cat Loves Catskills. Do I have a wish list on Amazon? You can put gift cards on there, I think, for Amazon donations. I will do that. I need to put together the wish list because I think my wish list is not very accurate right at the moment. It's a good idea, Gen X to the seventh power. Yes, Scott is yuck. That's because but I also lived for the longest time in Silver Lake and Las Feliz area, and I also never ran my AC as well. I just kept the windows open because I got really nice cross breeze, even though it was really, really hot. I don't like it. I don't know. Air conditioning is like the scourge of the earth. I feel guilty enough running it in my car sometimes, or running the refrigerator. Yeah. Debbie says, I love Ohio's weather. Yeah, Ohio's weather is great during the summer, sure. And we, thunderstorms and tornadoes and all those fun things. But yeah, I do miss that. I miss the humidity. I miss the rain a little bit sometimes. It's cold winter. It's cold. It's winter here in Australia. Yes, it is very cold down there. What is the temperature in St. Petersburg, Florida, where y'all live? Anyways, let me get back to this article. Scott has spoken out over the case of the years, and he has always maintained his instances. Oh, by the way, his attorney being Mark Garagos, who represented him. I have many friends who are victims, survivors of violence, crimes, family members. They are people who, who work with people who have been affected by violent crime. They are appalled by Mark Garagos. They can't stand this guy. So anytime he touches a case, they're just like, ugh, cringe. Him and Robert Shapiro. I was just engaged in a conversation with a friend of mine who is on the stalking task force here in Los Angeles. And I was talking about somebody who I knew way back in the day who I ran with as an actor. And he, total creep, turns out. Total creep. I was, when I found out what he did, I was like, oh, I wish they would have called me to be a witness at his trial. I would have testified for the prosecution. I've been like, yeah, he's a creep. But he was represented by both Robert Shapiro and Mark Garagos. Oy vey. Bad dude. Did bad. Ugh. Yeah, bad stuff. Thank God I didn't know him when he was doing all that nonsense. And my ex-girlfriend at the time said, there's something weird about the guy. I said, I know, right? I was like, he kind of creeps me out now. He would be very, very angry with women. And I'm like, that just doesn't work for me. So I don't, no. Be a little degree of narcissism involved there, perhaps. I don't know. How dare you do that to me type scenario, entitlement, things like that. Never a good mix. Anyways, it's horrible. He said in an article published Tuesday by People magazine, ahead of the release of the Peacock series, I was a total a-hole to be having sex outside our marriage. He also says he regrets not testifying at his trial and wants to be able to, quote, show people what the truth is. Who is Amber Fry? And Gloria Allred represented her. Gloria Allred and Amber Fry and Gloria Allred leave court after Fry testified on Scott Peterson's murder trial in Redwood City, California on August the 10th, 2004. In January 2003, Fry came forward as the woman Scott was having an affair with. She told reporters at the time the pair met in November 2002. Oh, I realize I still have this little thing up here on the screen. Not that we don't like your hot comments, but you do not like Gloria Allred. Gloria Allred represented a couple of friends of mine. She told reporters at the time the pair met in November 2002. That Scott had told her he was not married, according to United Press International article. Fry, who wrote a book, Witness, for the prosecution of Scott Peterson, will also speak out in Netflix documentary series. In a recording played in the trailer, she asks Scott, quote, "So what do you want? To be together with me?" And he says, quote, "For the rest of our lives, I think we could care for each other," he says. What is the status of the murder case? The California Supreme Court overturned Scott's death penalty sentence in 2020, ruling that the judge, quote, made a series of clear and significant errors in jury selection and that, quote, undermined Peterson's right to an impartial jury at the penalty phase. The trial judge had dismissed potential jurors who said they disagreed with the death penalty, but would be willing to follow the law and impose it. The justices said in a unanimous decision that the jurors cannot be dismissed simply because they oppose the death penalty. Scott's conviction was upheld and he was resentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 2022, he was denied a new trial after his legal team argued that juror number 7, a woman named Rochelle Nice, had been untruthful and hid details of her personal life, including that she was a victim of domestic violence and had sought a restraining order in 2000 over concerns that her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend would harm her unborn baby. Now, look, I'm not a big fan of like defenses reaching for these technicalities, but that in a witness, as far as being a witness, or I'm sorry, as far as being a as a juror and having that kind of background that you did not disclose, that's a little suspect to me. Just saying. Not saying he's innocent, but that would also kind of make me go, well, that doesn't sound like it's very fair jury selection. Superior Court judge, lawyers for Scott accused Nice of prejudicial misconduct and said her untruthfulness presented a conflict, but the court did not rule in their favor. Superior Court Judge Anne Christine Masulo wrote in a decision that while several of Nice's answers on the jury questionnaire were, quote, false in certain respects, she was not, quote, motivated by pre-existing or improper bias against Scott. Masulo said Nice's answers were a combination of, quote, good faith misunderstanding of the questions and sloppiness in answering, unquote. Nice, who co-wrote a book about, of course, she co-wrote a book about the trial with fellow jurors, has denied having been influenced by her personal experiences. The last movement in the case was earlier this year when the Los Angeles Innocence Project took on Scott as a client. The nonprofit organization which represents people convicted of crimes who want to prove they are innocent, said in January that it was seeking new evidence in his original trial. Los Angeles Innocence Project did not immediately respond to request for comment on Tuesday. American Murder, Laci Peterson premieres Wednesday on Netflix, and Face to Face with Scott Peterson premieres August 20th on Peacock. So today, American Murder, Laci Peterson came out. And then next week, Face to Face with Scott Peterson premieres next Tuesday, August 20th on Peacock. Peacock is owned by NBC Universal, the parent company of NBC News, which we just played. What is interesting about all of this is, for those of you that followed, obviously, why is his name escaping me? His wife's name was Shanann. Oh, come on, man. Really? Colorado guy. Why is this name escaping me? Please tell me in the comments who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. It happened in Colorado. Why can't his name? I can see his face. Chris Watts. Chris Watts. He also said these same things to his girlfriend or his lover or, mistress, who was a yoga teacher. I can definitely see us, for the rest of our lives. I think we can care for each other. Again, similar stuff. And a lot of people pointed out in his trial and during his case that, in fact, that unlike Amber Fry, she did not, Chris Watts' mistress or girlfriend did not come forward with evidence until, I don't even know if she ever did, but yeah. So a lot of people give Amber Fry rightfully credit for reporting what she did and coming forward and having the courage to do so. And obviously hired Gloria Allred, so she wasn't playing any games. Like, hey, I want the best to represent me. Let's do it. But yes, manipulation 101. Absolutely, Gringa. I don't know why that guy is sitting in prison. Chris Watts, why he is sitting in prison? Well, he is sitting in prison and he has found God. He was recently in the news again. Yes, Nicole Kessinger, that was her name. Yeah, she was not cooperative at all for whatever reason. I don't think she had anything to do with it. I watched that American Murder, Neighbor Next Door. But yeah, anyways. Kissinger. Oh, that's right. I remember that, Charlie. She did. That's right. That was one of the things. I have a better idea for him than prison. Yeah, he's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. Oh, yeah. Marie Hathaway, Marie Hathaway lives in the beautiful state of Colorado. So there is no death penalty there. That's correct. Yeah, I don't think she was cooperative as far as I know, Laura Lou. And yes, the LA Innocence Project is different, completely different organization than the Innocence Project, the actual Innocence Project. Anyways. All right. On that note, Mover Nation, we get through another one. Happy birthday, Susan Ziegler. Thank you so much for being a wonderful mother and human in my life, and a mother and best grandmother, mother to myself and Levi, my younger brother, Levi J. Ziegler, and his 4 wonderful nephews. I have 4 wonderful nephews. And being the best grandma to those wonderful nephews. Every time I call, she's always cooking them something or playing with them or taking them on bike rides or she sits in the car and watches all their baseball games, one after the other. She's a very dedicated grandma. We love you so much. And thank you for being in my life. On that note, Mover Nation, as I always say, please take a break from all this material, the true crime stuff, all that. Get out. The summer is almost over in a few weeks. Please enjoy it while you can. Please get out, enjoy the time with your families. Please, above all else, be kind and gracious to one another. Remember that we're a community here, and we've built quite a fabulous community, even though we're only 40 strong today. I appreciate all 40 of you that are here. And yeah, on that note, Mover Nation, hey, here's the outro. Mover Nation, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to all my channel members and Patreon supporters. And for more exclusive content, behind the scenes videos, monthly VIP meet and greets, and watch parties, please consider supporting me on Patreon or by becoming a YouTube channel member. If you like this video, check out this one right here or this one right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps with the algorithm. On that note, I'm Collier Landry. I'll see you on the next one. Good girl, Marisol. Good girl.